This episode of The Republic is brought to you by Larry's son, Zach, and his birthday. Happy
Yay,
birthday.
Zach!
Yay, Zach! Happy birthday, Zach.
Game Breaker TV.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to The Republic, episode 186 for July 7th, 2014. This is The Republic coming up on today's show. Apparently, the people are unhappy. They need more content. Double XP weekends are so last month, and we got some more class rep Q&A action to talk about. Joining me today, as always, Mr. Larry Everett. Happy birthday to your son.
Hey. Yes. He's 9, and he's really
9.
happy.
He's happy. And he loves Minecraft.
He does.
Craziness. And joining us, as always, Laura Williams. How are you, Laura?
Hey, guys. Happy birthday, Zach. I don't know if you can hear me.
Probably not.
I'll tell him.
Keep saying
I'll tell him for you.
We just wanted to watch the VOD. It's more impressive when you can watch it down. All right, so let's talk about some SWTOR. So apparently the Raiders are a little antsy. They need more content. That's what people are saying this week. Raiders need more content. There's some big threads on both the forums and over on Reddit. It also doesn't seem like it's just ratings. So they're also talking about content in general, really. So what's going on? Why all of a sudden does it feel like almost in like a week, all of a sudden this is cropped up in Raiders and just everybody's feeling the drought?
I think what this is just a culmination of people really starting to feel what a 9-week cadence is like, or not? Yeah, 9. Because
I think it's more than that. I think it's way more than that.
Well, no, it is more than that. I mean, but that's part of it. Is that we're now? I mean, between updates, it's 9 weeks between any kind of update, and then on top of that, you think about even longer specifically between raid content update, because we're almost at a year now.
Dread Fortress and Dread Palace launched October 2013, along with Oricon.
Jeez.
That's a really, really long time for no new raid content. Now that's true. They have given us the Nightmare versions, but it's not. It's not actually a new zone. It's not really a new instance.
It doesn't feel new. It doesn't have
the same stuff. No.
It doesn't have that new car smell. You know. That new
Laura, why do you think it's more than that? Laura, you're saying you think it's more than that. What else do you think it is?
So I went back to look at some of the patches because people were talking about there's not really a whole lot of content coming out. And I went back to like August of last year, and we had CZ-198, the Titans of Industry. So we got 2 new tactical flashpoints that launched in last August. Then we had Oricon and Dread Palace and Dread Fortress, and that came in October. Starfighter launched for subscribers in December, and then rolled out for 2 months before it launched for everybody, free to play, which was in February. We didn't see anything new from there until April, when we got the Forged Alliances storyline with the Korriban and Tython flashpoints, and that's when we also got Quest Hot Ball, the new Starfighter map, and the release of Nightmare Dread Fortress. And then we haven't seen anything new until June, when we got basically Nightmare Dread Palace and like events to kind of tide us over while we're waiting for Strongholds to launch in August. That's a long time for not really new substantial content.
Yeah, well, especially when the content, last year they were just churning out content constantly. It felt like there was always something, even if it was something small or whatever. It would always seem like there was something new to do for at least for the PvEers. The PvPers have been kind of suffering, to be quite perfectly honest, except for the new Hotball map, which was released 2 years almost after Ancient Hypergates. So as far as PvE content is concerned, to go from every 4 to 6 weeks ish having something new to this long of time and not having anything, it's almost like that. To be honest, it feels like that first year when it seemed like we were waiting forever for something new to come out.
So what do you guys think the big slowdown is? What's the reason? Why is it just they're just going on a new schedule and this is it and get used to it?
I think that part of it was the new schedule, and they said that they were going to try to stretch out the amount of time between content patches, but also with them going free to play, some of the bigger stuff coming out, they wanted to give subscribers, make them feel like they were getting to experience it first and see more of it. So they have this sort of 3-month rollout that they've been going on, and we definitely saw that with Starfighter, where they talked about here's when it's going to launch in December, and anyone that's a subscriber is going to get to play it. And then in January it launched for free to play, and then February it finally launched, it launched in January for preferred, and then in February it launched for free to play. So by the time it finally rolls out and everybody has access to it, people that are subscribers have been playing it for 2 months to almost 3 months, not including times that people actually got on Test Center and got to try it and test, and the people who were in the beta for it.
So you think the whole staggered release?
I think the staggering, that it's good that they're doing that to make subscribers feel like they're getting content before everyone else, but at the same time it also makes it feel very old by the time it physically is technically having to launch.
I mean, it feels like everybody's gotten a lot of content lately, like last 6 months or so. You got, like I said, new Hutball, Galactic Starfighter, you got a couple new raids, right? I mean, any new zones?
To be fair,
we got a harder difficulty at raid.
We got a harder difficulty at raid.
True.
So, and to be honest, I mean, the people that are participating in Nightmare content, I mean, let's be real. Our guild got to Nightmare content and is doing Nightmare content. If that doesn't say something about
so you're saying there's a major problem.
But I mean, that progression raids, the guys that spend hours upon hours playing the
who are on Test Center, knocking it out on Test Center even before it hits live, they've got it all beaten. So I can only imagine that those poor people are just kind of like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't.
What do you think the solution is here? Do you think the team's going to change the style or ramp up the production, or do you think you basically just say, hey, go find another game to take up some of your spare time and maybe? Well,
I feel like they've made an effort to try to sort of fill in the gap a little bit, and I think that we saw that with this patch with them pushing back Galactic Strongholds. They talked about how you had a bunch of monthly events that are coming back. So we've got Greed that's still coming back in at the end of the month. We've got Bounty Week. They did... Let me flip back through my notes here. We had Double XP Week that just finished up. So for people looking to level characters, that was really great. Right now, they're giving incentive for people to log in and do PvP right now. You're getting extra rewards until 2.8.2 hits.
Well, I think the biggest thing as well that they're doing as far as the raid content is concerned, they have changed up the way that Group Finder works, and they are giving bigger incentives for people to do raid level content in Group Finder. In fact, there's a couple of incentives actually that they've done this. They've said that some of the achievements for some of the rewards for Galactic Strongholds will be based off your achievements, and part of those achievements are going back and doing other operation content to make sure that your achievements are all filled out and whatnot. And they're also in Group Finder. They're giving rewards specifically for doing raids and for doing pickup groups for story mode raids and whatnot. And so those are and it's for pretty much every operation that's out there. So I think that it's.
Well, they're to a point they're trying to get people caught up gear-wise too, if they're not there.
Well, it's a couple of things. I mean, they are prepping people in long term for another expansion to come out, which I'm assuming with that, not with Galactic Strongholds, but the one after that. I'm assuming that there's going to be. I assume that there's going to be some sort of operation that comes along with that, so I think they're gearing people up to, okay, let's get ready to push the level some, and also at the same time they're getting people into some of the older content. Now, because not everybody, I'm going to make this clear, not everybody is progression raids, do progression raids, not everybody does that, so this content does last for some people. It's just that when you do it for so long, so many times over and over again, even if you're going to the next level of difficulty, it does wear on you some. So there you are.
Speaking of that, you bringing up the McCabe expansion. What do we know about that? I mean, we heard it was coming this year.
We know nothing about it yet because they have purposely not told us any information. Even though they keep saying we're going to talk about it, it doesn't come.
Yeah.
We don't even know if it's still on schedule.
Well, we do know that it has to something. It's started. We don't know that it's. We do know that it started with the Forged Alliance stuff, and then the next expansion is going to kind of end that Forged Alliance stuff. But other than those two flashpoints, which really tell us very little. They tells us some, but most of it is speculation. So it really doesn't tell us very much. We don't really know anything. We don't know what it's about.
Wait, I lied. We do know that class changes are going to come.
Oh, God.
So it was much specific. The top voted comment in the thread over on Reddit mentions that something to do with like normal MMO things could be less of a priority. I guess because maybe they're referencing because they
like the cartel market.
I don't know, is that because they're like not as easily monetized as like Starfighter and Strongholds? I don't know if they're just being cynical. I don't know. Could that be? Is there something there?
I don't know. I honestly, I mean, I like Reddit in general, but a lot of the comments, the general comments, and this is a very general comment. I don't always take everything quite as seriously. There's certain users that I absolutely pay attention to, but like I mean, if SWTOR, like for instance, if SWTOR Miner, for instance, has been saying something about the new expansion coming on Test Center and that it has to come on Test Center, and that kind of person that has a foothold in the Reddit community and also is a strong supporter of Tor in general and strong supporter of MMOs as well, I will listen to that guy, and he's known within the Reddit community and within the SWTOR community in general. But I don't know. I kind of take certain things, even if they're upvoted a lot, with a grain of salt.
And what are you guys doing? Are you balancing your time out in other games? Or are you feeling the same way that there's really is there a big issue here? Or is it just for some reason this kind of like thread caught wildfire and now it's kind of taken on a life of its own? Or is this just something you've been dealing with for a long time?
We in general have a lot of people who are just really bored with Star Wars right now. I mean, I'm not going to lie. I'm one of them that's really bored with Star Wars right now, and I've been having a great time playing WildStar, and I've got some friends that talk me back into WoW. So, my time is kind of split a little bit, but there's really nothing that I want to log in to do. So this long waiting period between content is just... It's hard to get motivated to log in and continue to run dailies.
I kind of agree. I mean, if I didn't have like roleplay to fall back on and a good roleplay community, I don't honestly know what I would be. I probably would not be playing Tor right now because there's not a whole lot. There quite honestly, there isn't a whole lot of stuff to do that I haven't done. Several hundred times before. I think I do get a little bit of refresher whenever we have like a double XP weekend and there's some people that come back and they want to do this and they want to do some of this other content that I haven't done in a while. I think that's a lot of fun. I mean, like we just ran Karaga's Palace.
To give people achievements.
Yeah, nice. and that was fun. So I mean, it's not like it's unfun to do. It's just that we have already done this and there's nothing. You kind of want a little bit of new shiny whenever you go visit things like that.
Well, we'll see where it goes. It's definitely getting a lot of attention over on the other forums and the Reddits. So, all right, speaking, you brought up about double XP. I want to talk about that. But first, got to take a quick break, tell you guys about our sponsor, Audible. I want to thank Audible for sponsoring this episode of The Republic. And if you guys have not checked out Audible, I want to hook you up with a free 30-day trial and a free audio book just by going to audible.com/gamebreaker. Make sure to use that URL. Pick up a free audiobook. Just download the app, put it on your device, your Android device, your iPhone, your Kindle, your iPad, whatever you got. Put it on there, and then pick a free audiobook. And they got tons of Star Wars stuff, including Star Wars: The Old Republic. Let's listen to a little bit of Deceived.
And paid him no heed as he flew over and past them, their dull black eyes blinking against the snow and ice. He pulled back on the ion engines and slowed still further. A yawn forced itself past his teeth. He sat up straight and tried to blink away the fatigue, but it was as stubborn as an angry bantha. He'd given the ship to the autopilot and dozed during the hyperspace run from Volta, but that was all the rack he'd had in the last 2 standard days. It was catching up to him. He scratched at the stubble of his beard, rubbed the back of his neck, and plugged the drop coordinates into the Navicomp. The comp linked with one of Ord Mantell's unsecured geosync sats and fed back the location and course to Fatman. Zerid's HUD displayed it on the cockpit canopy. He eyed the location and put his finger on the destination.
Check it out, check it out, check it out. Go over to audible.com/gamebreaker, download a free audiobook, and try the service absolutely free for 30 days. I've been a longtime fan of Audible. I've been a subscriber for 5+ years now, I think, at this point. Love, love, love the Audible. Listen to it when I'm in the car, listen to it sometimes in bed, going to sleep. Love it, love it, love it, love it. Check it out, audible.com/gamebreaker. All right, so you guys were talking about Double XP week, and BioWare are apparently stepping up their game. So now it's not just a weekend anymore. They're doing an entire week, July 1st through the 7th. Today's the last day. You missed it. This news is not even worth talking about. No, seriously. Did you guys partake? Now they're doing... Is this going to sort of make it even a little bit, like, less... Not special, but it just you guys used to really look forward to the Double XP weekends and kind of like make a whole weekend out of it and plan around it and do like now that it's a whole week. I mean, did you guys like spend the whole
Actually,
week?
I thought the week was kind of awesome. I wish they would do like a full week more often.
Why
and
don't they
not
just make
just
the
on
whole game
holidays
Double
when people are
XP?
going to be out of town visiting family. I did manage to get my Juggernaut to 55, so I was kind of excited about that.
That was a big problem with me. I did try to do some KDY quad drive yards runs earlier when it started during the week, but I had a hard time during the weekend getting anything done because of of the holiday and whatnot. So it was a bit disappointing in that sense, because I had some people in our guild that were leveling up, and I wanted to do quad driver runs with them, and I had some people who were following me on Twitter that wanted to do some leveling up as well, and I had a real hard time doing it because of the holiday weekend. If they were to have done this, this week, it would have been, other than my son's birthday, it would have been amazing, because I would have been able to do it.
It's when you make your kids level up a character so that they can farm for you.
That's why
it would have been the perfect opportunity, Larry. You missed it.
Yeah, that's why I have 2 accounts, so they can
Larry's
level up
gold farming facility over here, credit facility. Well, you think you're going to do this more and more? You think weekends are over? Now it's going to go to weeks? I mean, Blizzard did something kind of similar, like with D3 a while back. I think they doubled the legendary drop rates for all. People love that. Yeah, I mean, I guess this might be the new norm. I don't know.
It does bring people back.
I would love it if they would. It would give me more incentive to actually log in and level something. And I felt very justified for all of our leveling experiments that we had done in the past, because one of our guildmates had been leveling a smuggler, and I was just like, dude, there's no way in hell that I can do anything Republic side again. Like, I would rather cut my arm off. So he was leveling his tune. He was like, so I just want you to know that even though I leveled up to 55, he was like, it was so much faster when you were dragging me through everything. And I'm like, I know, right?
Yep.
All right, well, it's...
There's actually one guy in our guild that amazed me. He has like 17 alts already.
Oh, Lord.
I know, right? And he leveled up another one during this week. So
he said that's it. He's done. He's got every class completed. One of everything.
Believe it when I see it. Number 18 is going on right now.
He'll be at 19 alts by the next time that Double XP weekend happens. I don't see how he does it. I would not be able to do that. No way.
I don't know. I thought I was doing good at 655s, but
yeah.
All right, let's go over some class reps. What is this, sniper class rep this week?
Yeah.
All right. First up, the class rep wanted us to know that BioWare wanted to know what BioWare we're going to do to improve DPS for sniper raid utility? That was the question. How did they respond?
I'll let Laura go because I had a lot of kind of sour.
Larry is an asshole. I'm just going to throw that out there. He's going to tell me that I am being whiny when his class just got buffed and my class has got nothing but nerfs. Yeah. So they were talking in the question about the fact that we have taken some hits lately in the DPS and some other classes have gotten buffs to bring theirs up higher. And there was a concern that maybe at this point people weren't going to necessarily want to bring snipers to a raid because you've got other people that basically can outperform them, as opposed to some of the different specs that they have. And they were like, one of the only exceptions to that is the engineering spec, which you can kind of exploit by dropping your bombs. And that can do some amazing damage, but in terms of everything else, yes, we have a lot of raid utility. We've got one of the best defensive raid cooldowns available, and so they wanted to know, is that enough to justify continuing to bring a gunslinger or sniper to a raid? So pretty much they were like, well, yeah, we do think that it's still worth it to bring you guys, and you do have this great raid utility, and you know, we'll take a look at your damage, and if it needs to be brought up, we'll bring it up, but it's not going to be crazy amounts. And they basically said that we need to look at this utility tax that we are now suffering under, saying that, you know, we have a trade-off on damage because we can bring amazing cooldowns.
So, in other words,
yeah, like they want everyone to be able to perform. They want everybody to be able to be brought to a raid and wanted that spec to be in the raid, but yeah, it's just kind of, well, but this is your trade-off for it, and we're not really going to change that.
Okay, so it used to be that you would want to bring to every raid you wanted 3 snipers and 1 marauder, or however, you know, double that for
8 snipers, 1 marauder.
Yeah, so it used to be that way, and so now it's to me, as somebody not playing the sniper class, it sounds like me, the sniper guy, saying, my class used to be the best, and now we're just like everyone else. What are you going to do about that? That's what it sounds.
I'd like to point out, like 3 shows ago, where we were talking about Marauder buffs, and Larry was like, "Oh, it's so great! I don't have to stare at my bars anymore, and oh, I can sit here and just face roll across the keyboard, and I don't have to think about it." Yeah, Larry, you're an ass.
Yeah, well, see, and then rightfully so.
And then he's gonna complain to me that I'm whining.
And then rightfully so, BioWare said, no, you're wrong, and here's why. That rightfully so.
Well, you know what? They're wrong. I'm sorry, but they're wrong. That's just how it is.
So did they basically say?
They basically said we're being penalized under a utility tax. They don't want to call it a hybrid tax. It's a utility tax.
Well, see, here's the
and they want everybody to have some unique special snowflake feature that's going to make them brought to a raid.
I don't see why people would not bring a sniper to the raid. Even that just boggles my mind.
Bring them to the raid.
I know, but now instead of 7 snipers, you just bring 1. Which is, to me, that, I don't know, maybe I'm a little skewed here by playing some of the class other than...
Thank God we only run me as the sniper in our raid. Otherwise... Actually, for a while, half our raid was snipers.
It was!
Laura, are you guys like a solid class in endgame PvE right now?
Yeah, well, I think so. I mean, I wouldn't say that I think we're terrible, but certainly after they nerfed Orbital Strike, we took a hit, and we have not gotten any buffs since 2.0 launched with McCab. So yes, I do feel like maybe we need to have our damage looked at a little bit.
So basically, in the far distant future, in a galaxy far, far away, they might give you what you want. Basically, we were told in one of the other questions that changes are coming when they do the level increase. Oh. But they'll probably nerf your damage when they do.
Probably.
Well, so,
yeah.
They'll nerf ballistic shield. It'll only hit like 2 people. Maybe someone else.
The rep
random people. It'll be random people. 2 random people. You won't even be able to, anyway.
The class rep also kept mentioning that the lethality spec received no changes in 2.8. What was their reasoning behind?
No, they didn't. They haven't changed it at all. So they said again, that's one of those things. It's coming somewhere.
It's one of those things. Was it
line.
time restraint? It wasn't time restraints. Wasn't that the actual reason? Time restraints.
Yes, that actually was what they said. They were like, we have so many things that we need to fix. They said we realized that this is a priority, and they actually referenced this for operatives, but they said we know that this is a priority down the road. Larry, I hate you.
I'm reading chat. I'm reading chat, and I'm loving where Mr. Dill Pickles when he says all the sniper's tears are tasty.
Yeah, so they said, we have a lot of things that we want to fix. This is definitely on our list. It is coming, very high priority, probably not before like 2.9 or further out. So great. I know that this spec has a buff coming. And honestly, I really would rather hear more about what they're going to do to kind of fix marksman, because that spec took a big hit when they nerfed orbital strike. And they have a lot of talents in there that buff orbital strike, reduce the cooldown, or supposed to buff the damage. And it's just kind of it's sort of a worthless talent. Well, I don't want to say worthless, that's wrong. It just doesn't really work with the spec now, since they don't want orbital strike to be used as a single target attack. So, but I guess that's one of those things where you just have to have a huge overhaul that's going to come when you have a level increase.
Just wait. Just wait.
Keep your fingers crossed.
What about the 2.8 changes for viability and PvP? Has that helped in PvP?
Well, no, because we still didn't really get anything, and that's one of our complaints is we need slightly more defense. And one of the things that they had looked at was giving evasion a 3-second immunity to everything, basically making us invulnerable. And they removed that at the last second because they were like, oh, that could be slightly overpowered.
Yeah, I think, okay, so I believe that there is definitely an issue here. However, I mean, I do think that the question was phrased a little funny, because it did come off a little bit whiny, in the sense that it came across as saying, "Hey, everybody picks on me. Can you get them to stop?" And then the truth is, the BioWare didn't answer the question very well either. In fact, they gave probably the biggest non-answer with that question.
Well, they basically said, so we had this change, we felt like it was overpowered, we took it out. Yeah. We know you guys need some help. What would you like to see?
Yeah,
because right now we have nothing to give you.
It's like everything we tried, everything we tried didn't work. We don't know what to do. What do you want to do about it? And without giving any kind of option, I mean, you're asking some people that, okay, yes, we play the class, we corporately play the class, and we do have numbers, to go off of from that, and we do, we are just, specifically involved with it, but they have all the stats and all the hard numbers and all of this kind of stuff, and they're asking, I mean, I know there's a little bit where they have to ask, but shouldn't they be giving us some sort of suggestion, like, okay, how about we tweak this over here and tweak this over here, or if you don't like that option, how about this option where you tweak this and this, or how about this option over here where you tweak this and this, and then throw it to the audience and say, and which one of these do you like? That way you're getting some kind of directed feedback, because just throwing it out there going, what do you want to do, is really...
I feel like Entrenched should give us extra defenses, is in addition to the CC immunity while it's up. I think they should give us that 3-second immunity on evasion, and shield probe should have no cooldown at all. I should be able to just constantly pop that. That would make me happy.
Right.
There you go, BioWare. Get on it.
I see them doing that next month. That's totally going to happen.
Finally, the class rep asked about a bunch of recent changes that were made to the quality of life for your class? What exactly were they talking about here? They were saying that these changes hurt your class. What were they referencing, and how did BioWare respond?
They were talking about trying to fix engineer, which is it's supposed to be the AOE spec. And they were like, we know this is kind of got some problems. When is this going to be fixed? And they were like, well, we could fix the damage now, but do you really want to take a nerf? Or you can wait until the next expansion when we redesign the talent tree. I'm not kidding. That is exactly what they said.
I feel like there's a theme here.
Yeah, that is exactly the answer. It's like it's almost as if BioWare, whenever they ask a question, it's almost like BioWare went, that's right, we did say we're going to fix that. Oh my gosh, how can we forget? We'll do that next year. You know, this
Would
series
you really
of questions
want that
and answers
down without having an overhaul of the tree to go along with it?
This series of questions and answers, I was just absolutely not impressed with at all on either side. I don't think the questions were asked very well, and I don't think I think that if I were to weigh one side over the other, the answers actually got the worst end. But I still think the questions could have used a little bit more direction as well. It's just this whole question and answer thing is really exemplifies why the system that they have in place doesn't work.
I feel like if they wanted to have more of an open dialogue going on, like a continual dialogue going on, like on the forums, it might be a little bit better, but I'm kind of getting a little tired of these non-answers.
Yeah.
We have big changes, Laura, that are planned for the distant future that we cannot discuss at this time.
Yeah. Let me just hold out for another 6 months.
There you go.
And then it'll all be fixed.
It's everything will be revealed. Laura Williams, follow her on Twitter at VoidMix, VoidMyNX, and right here on the Republic as well. Always a pleasure. And I think you're going to have different hair next time.
Yes, it will be different hair, and I will probably be crying.
Larry Everett, follow him on Twitter, SHADDOE. Go to hyperspacebeacon.com. What are you writing about this week?
This week, actually, there was a video about Strongholds that came out, and I
can't wait to talk about that next week.
I told that thing apart. Yeah.
I can't wait to be the Martha Stewart of the Star Wars.
All next week, next week's show is going to all be about that. Seriously, because it's absolutely amazing. Yeah.
Well, check it out. Go over to hyperspacebeacon.com. You can follow me on Twitter, Gary Gannon. Follow Gameburger TV, Gameburger TV. Go to our Facebook page, like that. Make sure you like our Facebook page, and make sure to check out gameburger.tv/deals to save money on video games. We'll see you next week for more Republic.